Hello, I'm Larry from Hoosier Hills and Backroads. You can get a hold of us on Hoosier Hills and Backroads YouTube channel or on Facebook page, also called Hoosier Hills and Backroads. Anytime. Got a lot of good people on both channels, channel Facebook and YouTube. We've got a lot of good people on there. Always have something to talk about. Got things in common when it comes to motorcycle rides. I got a story to tell you about a motorcycle ride. True story. Back in about 1982, me and a good friend of mine took off on motorcycles, and we left here in Bedford, Indiana. Went down to Whitesburg, Kentucky to meet a friend of mine that had moved there from Florida. We went down there planning on being gone 7 or 8 days. So we rode motorcycles down there. And to start off the trip, whenever I got to his house, he told me, Larry, go out there and get that stuff off the bed and put it in my duffel bag. So I did. And we got down the road. We got probably 60, 70 miles down the road. His bike started blowing oil out. He's riding a Hawk, I think it was. 400 is what he was riding at the time. Anyway, we got to the other side of Louisville down there, and it started blowing oil a little bit. He decided we'll just keep going. He didn't want to turn around and go back. So we kept on going. And his whole right leg, cowboy boot, everything just oil soaked. We'd stop every 20, 30, 40 miles and we'd check, see if it needed oil, put a little in it, keep going. But we finally made it down there. And we stayed the first night. The second night we decided, well, it's a dry county, first off. We decided, well, we need to go get some cigarettes and 6-pack of beer. So we went over the mountain into the nearest town. And we got we had to go over into Virginia, into Pound, Virginia, I believe the name of the town was. And we got our cigarettes and our beer, strapped it on the bike, and heading back. Well, we decided we was going to go over the mountain instead of around it because it's half the distance. And it was getting late, getting dark. We started up through that mountain, and it's just a one-lane blacktop road. I mean, a goat path. We started up that road. It started getting dark on us. A hell of a storm blew up. I mean, awful storm. You could stand there and scream and not hear yourself. That's how bad it was. The wind and the rain. And I was leading, and a tree that I couldn't reach around fell across the road right in front of me. Well, I went down, slid sideways, and I don't know how, but the bike slid right up to the tree. I was on my back sliding. The momentum brought me up to my feet, and I slid right up to my bike on my feet. And I look around. I couldn't see my buddy anywhere, but I did see his headlights sticking up, shining through the trees. So I take off screaming for him and yelling for him, and I find him just over the edge of the blacktop, over the ledge of that mountain, which is a good, I don't know how far, but it's way down there. But he didn't go that far. He just went right off the edge of the road. So I got him and his bike. We drug his bike back up on the road, got him up on the road. We sat there and thought we were going to ride this out for a little bit because it was a heller. So we huddled up there and got our bikes back up on their stands and just huddled up there by that tree that fell down until this storm started passing by. Well, there's no way we could get over that tree and keep going that way, so we had to go back. We got on the bikes, went back down the mountain to that town, went all the way around the mountain, and got to my buddy's house, which ended up being like 2 o'clock in the morning. We got all cleaned up and bandaged up, and my buddy, he was skinned up pretty bad. Well, the next morning I go out and look at the bikes, and one thing is bad about that place. We're up in a holler there in the eastern part of Kentucky. And my buddy that lived there told us when we first got there, pull your bikes up to the porch and use this log chain. Because if you don't, your bikes will be gone tomorrow morning. Because these people don't see stuff like this here. And they'll be gone. We're like, oh. But we did what he said. I got up that next morning after having that wreck that night. I got up that next morning and go out on the porch with a cup of coffee. Sure enough, there's like 6 or 8 guys standing around there looking at our bikes like they were spaceships. And I tried to talk to them, but they didn't want to have anything to do with me. They wouldn't talk to me. They just walked away, which I thought was odd. But I didn't have much wrong with my bike. Just broke one of my turn signals and skinned up my handle grip a little bit on the handlebar. That was it. My buddy's, his was skinned up a little worse than mine. He had broken off the signal and bent his handlebars, but it was still rideable. Well, here he come. We sat there and drank a cup of coffee. And he said, I need to go up there and get some of my changed clothes. And he goes up there and he starts raising hell because he didn't have any other blue jeans to put on. The only ones he had was oil soaked. And anyways, that was because I didn't put them in the duffel bag. He should have packed his own shit. It wasn't my job to pack it. But anyways, he decided we need to go back. Yeah, I decided that's a good idea. Let's just cut our trip short, cut our losses, and head back home. So we said our goodbyes, and we loaded everything on the bikes, took off. Going to take it easy because we had more than enough time to get back home. Well, it dropped. It was in April, late April, I think it was. And the temperature dropped down. It got really cold. So we stopped and bought all the gloves, jersey gloves, stuff we could find at this little gas station. Put all these gloves on and bundled up with everything we had. We looked like a couple of guys from the Christmas story. Couldn't even hardly reach the handlebars. But anyway, we took off. And we got all the way back into Louisville, Kentucky. It was cold. We decided we're going to go down to this Waffle House down at the bottom of the ramp and eat, warm up, and then head back across the river to Indiana. Well, we go down this ramp, and he's in front of me. This little green Escort comes around me on my right side, goes around and pulls back in and clips his front wheel. He goes flipping end over end down this ramp. And I'm freaked out because I thought, oh, he's hurt. He's done for. So I got stopped, got off the side of the road. I ran and grabbed him, drug him over to the curb. He was moaning and groaning, cussing and carrying on. Then I got his bike drug out of the road and got it drug over to the curb. And there was a police officer at the bottom of the hill, at the bottom of the ramp that was directing traffic. He had seen all of this. I go to this police officer and said, are you going to call anybody? What happened? My buddy got hit. And this police officer, no shit, he looked me right in the face and said, buddy, do you realize how many green Escorts there are in Louisville, Kentucky? Well, I never gave it a thought. Then he said, did you get a license plate number or a name? I said, no, I sure didn't. I said, did you? He said, no, I didn't either. So he said, but I will call you an ambulance. And my buddy over there said, no, I don't want no ambulance. I don't want no ambulance. So we're not too far from the Belle of Louisville, steamboat. I go over to the steamboat and talk to this, I don't know if he's a waiter, bellboy, or usher. I don't know what he was. Maitre d', whatever. But he went and got me some towels and a first aid kit and about 4 rolls of black electrical tape. So I go back over there and I doctor my buddy up as good as I could. We get his bike up the side of the road there, and it broke the handlebar off. I mean, there's just a small part hanging on there. So we rolled tape around that thing and around his headlight. The headlight that popped out. We put tape around the headlight and the handlebar. It looked like a football on that handlebar just from the tape. So he could ride it. We go head on down there to that Waffle House and we get us something to eat. We spent a couple hours at the Waffle House. Warm up, decided, well, let's take it easy. We're close to home. So we rode that bike home, and I rode mine. When he got home, he pulled that bike around to the back of the house, pulled his shit off of it and threw it on the ground. Didn't even put the kickstand back down on it. Leaned that bike over against the fence in the weeds. That bike laid there for years. Never was touched again until his dad came along and had it hauled off for junk. But that's a true story. True story. The old boy's name, he's not with us anymore. He was a real good friend of mine. His name was Emery Myers. I thought the world of that guy. But we had some good times. I just thought that was an interesting story to tell. So thanks for listening. And like I said, again, get a hold of us on Hoosier Hills and Backroads YouTube channel or Facebook page. We'd sure be glad to hear from you. Thanks.